Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Corinne Cooks. Today I'm going to be making a candy that has like 8 names, I think, so I'm going to read them off. I'm going to call it Giugiulena because that's like the most common name I've seen. But the other names include Cubaita, Giurgiulena, Cobaita, Cubbarda, Ciciulena, Gigiolena, and Cumpittu. So, this is a candy that actually dates back to the Byzantine period in Sicily, which was like in the middle, like, I think it was like in the 500s or 600 AD. Okay, so I just looked it up. The Byzantine period in Sicily was actually 687 AD to about 900 AD. These are the ingredients needed for the Giugiulena. I'm using parchment paper to spread the candy out when I'm done. But a lot of the recipes say to use like a marble slab, which is more traditional. But another recipe said that parchment paper would be fine. Also, I found one recipe that said to use a lemon to smooth out the candy at the end, but another one said to use a wet spatula. So I'm just gonna try both and see how it goes. And that's like a halved lemon, by the way. These are the nuts and seeds used in this candy. It's almond. Usually it's almond, and a couple of recipes said you could also add pistachios, so I decided to do that. And of course, the sesame seeds are the main ingredient. By the way, the cooking spray is literally just to coat the measuring cup for the honey so it doesn't stick, so there's nothing else that's for. So the first step is just to soak the sesame seeds in water for a little bit, and then I'm going to drain them, of course. I think I could have used a bigger bowl. I'm going to transfer them. The top layer isn't getting wet. For the next step, I'm preheating the oven to 350 degrees, and then I'm going to spread the nuts out on this baking sheet and just toast them in the oven for a few minutes, probably like 3 to 5 minutes should be sufficient. I'm also just going to go ahead and pour all the honey into the saucepan since the pot doesn't have to be heated before adding the honey. It's looking like it's still sticking despite adding the cooking spray, so I don't know. Also, it calls for 2/3 of a cup, so this is only half of what I'm going to add. Yeah, I might have to scrape that out with a spoon. And now the nuts are ready to take out of the oven. Here they are, a little toasted. So I greased the parchment paper with a little bit of olive oil just in case, so that the candy doesn't stick. And now I'm going to start heating the honey over low heat. And then once this starts melting, I'm going to add the sugar. Now I'm adding the sugar in. And I'm going to let that melt into the honey. You also want to stir as continuously as possible. Now I'm going to add the nuts and the sesame seeds and stir for about 5 more minutes. Now it's time to pour out this mixture onto the parchment paper. It's kind of runny, which is scaring me. I'm gonna start getting this knife to like gather it in the middle. So I tried to push the honey into the middle to make this a more homogeneous mixture, but so far it looks like I might have put too much honey in this. I'm supposed to leave it for like 12 hours, so we'll see if it hardens up at all. I'm gonna be really sad if it doesn't. Also, the lemon didn't really seem to be helping at all. It was just kind of a weird experience to rub a lemon on this. But also, this might not be the right consistency at all, so we'll see. So after about 12 hours, the consistency is still pretty syrupy, so I definitely didn't heat the honey to a high enough temperature, hence it being back in the pot. And I'm about to boil it again and see if I can get it to be a harder consistency. So now I'm gonna try pouring it out again on the parchment paper. It's definitely a lot thicker now that I boiled it for like, I don't even know how long I just boiled it for, like over 5 minutes though. So here's what it looks like, all smoothed out. Definitely a lot better than before. Now I'm just gonna leave it out for like 2 to 12 hours, we'll see. It looks like it's gonna be so good though. So it's cooled off for like 5 or 10 minutes and I'm just cutting it up into little bite-sized pieces. And then it still needs to sit out to fully harden and get cool to like room temperature. So as you can see, I did already eat some of the squares because I couldn't help myself. They're so amazingly good. They're still a little soft, so I definitely would need to get a candy thermometer to be able to get them to the exact temperature. I figured out that there's all these stages in candy making and it's like very small ranges of temperatures and it drastically changes the consistency of honey. So they're still good and they stick together enough at this point, but they're actually supposed to be a little bit harder. So I like can't stop eating these. They're amazing. And just the combination of nuts and honey, like, you really can't go wrong. They are sticking a little to the parchment paper, so if they were a little bit harder, that wouldn't be an issue, I don't think. They're just like delectable, incredible, I don't know. This is some Byzantine candy. I'm just pulling up like the pieces that are stuck, that got stuck to the parchment paper. Here's just one piece off the parchment paper so you can see how it's still a little too sticky, but it still also does stay together. But yeah, it should be a little harder than this, especially so it doesn't like leave residue like that on the paper. Thank you all for joining me in this journey in making Giugiulena / the 7 other names it has. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you try to make this candy, and don't forget to heat it long enough.